Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
What is up, Lock Shoppers? Welcome to The Lock Shop, presented by Play Alberta right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Matt Iwanek in for Dustin Nielson, who will be back morning show tomorrow. I will be joined by Huss in just a few minutes. Lots to get to on The Lock Shop today. I wrote down my schedule here of what we need to get to. We will talk Jays and World Series, get Huss's thoughts on the crushing loss for the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll get into the CFL playoffs. I should see if the lines are up for next week as well, if we can get into that, or if we'll have to wait. Dusty and Huss will have to do that one tomorrow, possibly. No, we do have lines for next weekend as well, so we can guess the lines for that one. We'll look at the NFL weekend yesterday, which included the Chiefs losing to the Bills. I don't know why I was struggling to get those names out there. Lions getting shocked by the Vikings. The Packers getting absolutely shocked by the Panthers. Lots to get to. We will get to the Monday Nighter, and then hopefully we'll have some time for the National Hockey League. November promo codes. Same ones, reloaded. Right now, EST Sports. When I go on my Play Alberta account, that one is reloaded, so you can use EST Sports. At the moment, EST 50 hasn't been reloaded yet, so you're just going to have to wait a little bit on that one. But some same promo codes for this month coming up. So it'll be EST Sports, EST 50. But as I said, the EST 51 hasn't been fully reloaded just yet. So stay tuned on that one. But EST Sports, if you go deposit 50, you will get 50 to get that bonus. So yeah, Play Alberta, playalberta.ca. Yeah, it's just a wild weekend. Your thoughts always welcome. You can jump into the nasty chat. You could also text us at 780-218-9999. Also, I feel like I didn't say this at all last week. So disappointed, but hashtag justice for the Lock Shop. We got to keep getting that one out there. Sobe Kirk, Hustler showing up after Chiefs loss, plus 100. Oh, he's not going to miss. I'll tell you that he's not going to miss. He's not going to miss. He'll be here. He will absolutely be here because that's what Huss does. It's been pretty rare for him to bolt. We would know ahead of time. So I if anything, like this will be a tough one for him. You know, he goes actually a very tough weekend for Huss. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the dynasty. Well, it's not even a dynasty, but the championship window, it ends. Comes to a close. They don't make the Grey Cup for the first time in 6 CFL seasons. Toronto Blue Jays lose Game 6 Friday night, lose Game 7 on Saturday night. Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Just in many ways, a rough weekend for Huss. A very rough weekend for him. So he's going to be moving a little slow, I think, coming into the Lock Shop today. The saving grace, the Jets did beat the Penguins on Saturday 5-2. But when that game was happening, I don't know what time that game was. I just don't think Huss would have cared at all because either he was watching the Bombers or he was watching the Blue Jays. It was one or the other. But that's the saving grace for Huss. That his Winnipeg Jets did beat the Pittsburgh Penguins, but a rough weekend. That is for sure. Once again, Play Alberta, playalberta.ca. EST specials, you'll get Jay's play of the day. Will go up there. A few other plays will be there. The early bird bet, the Edmonton Oilers, who are in St. Louis to battle the Blues. Oilers to win on the money line. Bouchard, 1+ point. That is boosted to plus 147. Just click on EST specials at Play Alberta and playalberta.ca. With that, let's bring him into the show. It is Hustler from Winnipeg Sports Talk. And Huss, before Brian, just a rough weekend for you overall in many ways. Bombers, Chiefs, Jays. We have a lot to go from, but how are you doing today? I feel like we need to send you some sort of care package.
There's levels of losing and heartbreak and stress. It's funny because if you told me a couple weeks out that the Chiefs would get their ass kicked by the Bills, and that would be like a 2 out of 10 on the
pain scale,
anger sadness index, I would be like, what the hell else happened? I mean, for that to be that far down. Matt, I don't know about you, and I mean I didn't catch the shows in the morning. I am still in shock from the World Series. Like, I don't know. And listen, like I have so many other friends that are like way more hardcore Jays fans than me. Like, I have loved baseball. I mean, they're sort of our team because we see them all. I did really sort of fall in love with this team early on this year, and I watched at least half the games. I mean, it's sort of what we do in the summer. And finally, there's a contender, an unbelievably likable team that you can sort of get behind. And I mean, the ride that they took us through on this playoffs was incredible. But let's face it, like, I haven't even been able to go back through everything that happened in game 6 and game 7. You've kind of done it thinking about one particular play or one thing that went wrong. But I mean, it's it's so fresh. We're not 48 hours gone by. And that, I think, is the most crushing loss I think I've ever seen, regardless of sport. I'm sure there'll be some others. Maybe it's the recency bias, but to be so close in game 6, again in game 7, to do it against, I mean, an incredible team like the Dodgers, and to score more runs, to do everything over the course of 7 games, probably a little bit better. And then to find yourself on the wrong end of it, it's, I mean, I'm still sort of speechless. I cannot believe the way that is the most cruel. And I know we joke, and I mean, certainly people out in the West, we give it to Leaf fans, and this was a real collective coming together of the country. And I mean, the kick in the nuts that everyone got, and it wasn't just one. There was a few steel toes right between the legs over the course of the weekend. And I think people are still, myself included, just sort of going, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, it's one of those. There's the whole thing where, like, sometimes it's better to lose in like the conference championship than to lose in the championship game because of what else. Like, even in this case, I feel like if for Jays fans out there, you would rather have just gone destroyed in game 6 and 7 than to lose in that way and stuff because of the what if game. Like, just there's so many of all the like. How many chances? How many balls will have to be hit to have another ball get lodged into that fence? Like it, but it happens in game 6, and then you get the Kiki Hernandez throw and catches Barger at second for the double play to end the game, force the game 7. Where that wasn't even the best throw. Like Ross makes an amazing catch on that one to keep that one alive, but because of that, you have a poor leadoff in the bottom of the 9th of game 7. Like, just think about that connection right there. If that's not how you lose game 6, if let's say there was a double play ball that ended game 6, it wasn't, just a standard 1-2 first done, not that one, you probably get a bit more of a leadoff in the bottom of the 9th. And then you beat the play at home plate, you win the World Series. Like, there's just so many fine lines you can look at. What if when those two outfielders for the Dodgers when they collide, what if that was instead, like, often you could maybe have them drop the ball, but they hold on, that like there's just the what if game that will now take place.
Paez, who was so bad in the series, he had to be taken out of the lineup and had just gone in as a defensive roster. I'll say this about Dave Roberts. A lot of people joke about him like that, you or I could just sit there on the bench and let the Dodgers go and do their things. That might have been the best game he ever managed based on, what happened with the moves that he ended up making. And I will say this. Yeah, I left game 2 at Rogers Center going, well, that Yamamoto is unbeatable. So the Jays have to get 2 in LA. And then they lost the 18-inning game. And you're like, okay, well, and we'll see what happens. And they come back with those 2 wins. And you're like, holy smokes, they're on the verge of doing it. Yes, they've got to go against Yamamoto. But I'll tell you what, if it gets to 7, I still really like their chances. For Yamamoto to come back out and be on the mound. And I'll
ridiculous.
Tell this story. I mean, as a guy that, spends a lot of time in KC. I've been to 100 Royals games. I mean, really love that team. Like, I was so all in the 2014 run. And part of it was similar to the Jays. They hadn't done a damn thing in 30 years. So you've got this incredibly excited fan base of a team that had to win the wild card game. I mean, it wasn't like they won the AL East. They win that epic game against the A's. They go in, they beat Baltimore, they move on to the Angels. Then they're in the World Series. And Madison Bumgarner was at the height of his powers at that time. And Bumgarner won game 1. Bumgarner, I believe, pitched a complete game in game 5 to get the win. And at that point, it was 3-2 Giants going back to KC. So unlike the Jays, the Royals had to win both games. Well, the first game was a laugher. It was 12-1. So basically all day long, like basically through the last 6 innings of game 6, you were looking ahead to game 7. Well, Bumgarner comes out of the pen with a 1-run lead at the end of the 4th inning and pitches 5 shutout innings of relief on 2 days rest.
Yeah, I remember that. And
he was the MVP. And I mean, it was Yamamoto basically did the Bumgarner in the World Series to win game 2, 6, and 7 all on the road. I mean, the guy is a baseball Dodgers legend forever. But I will say this to Jays fans, as unlikely as it was, the Royals got that close and lost. They went back the next year and won the whole thing. So maybe this is just more pain and suffering to make the end when it finally happens that better. But I mean, Matty, you know how it is. There's lots of changes. I mean, lots of questions as to who's back, who's going to come. I do say this for the Jays. I think the season, the playoff run that they had will have lasting, real positive effects for the organization. Like, I think they're seen now not as just some fluky team that, made it to the playoffs or won the AL East. And I think when you saw the way that team is supported and the love of it, like I have a feeling it opened up a lot of guys' eyes to maybe playing in Toronto. And I certainly think that Rogers has the money, and knowing how close this was and how great it was for the company, there'll be a real focus on trying to stay here and be there with the Yankees and the Red Sox and trying to give yourselves another chance. But oh man, this is going to be a long off season that it's going to take a long time for people to get over what happened.
Yeah, I just quickly before I jump off of what you said there, I will say last week I did talk about Yamamoto at plus 2,000 for the World Series MVP. But I will say, even in all of my thinking there, I never thought it would be him in 6 and 7. I just thought it would be game 2 and 6, but he was brilliant, and Ohtani didn't step up like you thought he might have stepped up. And he didn't. Ultimately, Ohtani, he's the one that gave up that 3-run shot. But I like even the Bumgarner thing, it was games 5 and 7 that he pitched. Back-to-back days is just ridiculous.
Has that happened in 30 years?
I don't know. Like that, to think that he pitched the game before as the starter and went a long way and then still had over 2 innings in him to go play in the next night. Like, I don't recall ever really seeing that from a starting pitcher, where that they could go and produce the next day.
I bet if that game went 15 or 16, he's still in.
He could have had a few more innings. Yeah, that's the incredible part. It's almost like the fact that he didn't go 9 innings the night before. Yeah, he's like, I still have a few more. Like it's and so that's where I'm actually surprised, and like as much as I last week said, I think there's value there that he has that path. I would have never in a million years thought it's because he also got 3 wins and 2 of them being in game 6 and 7. Like that is just crazy. As the one thing I'll say about like I agree with you on players staying in Toronto. Like Bo Bichette, I don't know, why would you leave? Why would you go anywhere else? It doesn't like is the money really like the Jays are going to offer you what you want for the large part, but even if they don't, do you really want to leave what you've got going in Toronto? I do wonder though if free agents will want to go to Toronto, just because I thought that after the Raptors run of 15, the nation did get behind the Raptors. There was I remember a lot of American media that went to, I think it was at the time it was the ACC. And said this is one of the best atmospheres you'll see. And we haven't seen the free agents necessarily come to the Raptors in a big way to do that. But part of that, but also on that is Kawhi didn't left though quick. So
yeah, like I don't know whether there was as much of a connection between the players and the team and the fans with the Raptors. Like there's a few guys that everybody loved that were close, but I mean Kawhi Leonard's the most personality-less guy in all of sports. Like they loved what he did for them on the court, but there was no real connection. I mean, and the other thing is that Vlad is the Kawhi of this team, and he just re-upped for another decade.
Yeah.
So,
and that just kicks in.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think they know that they've still, like, I mean, guys were, oh, you're going to go to the Raptors the second that Kawhi is walking out the door. I mean, I think there were some other factors, but they certainly, I think, made, and the fans, I mean, everybody made, the country proud. The team, I think, I mean, we will look back. This is just a legendary team, even though they fell that much short. In fact, to be honest, not as much here in Canada. I mean, if you were able to win the World Series, I think that, with it being 32 years, there'd be a special pantheon. But falling so short, I think this Blue Jays team, might be remembered more for losing the World Series the way they did than many other teams that have won the World Series in the last 20 years. Like, the Dodgers are part of this run with 3 and 6. When people think back to the Dodgers run, I think this series and the Jays being where they were could be one of the most noted kind of footnotes of this run that Los Angeles has been on because of what they had to do to win. But where did you watch the game?
At home. Okay, I was at my cousin's 40th birthday. A bunch of people were there to watch the Blue Jays. I didn't want to stick around because I am not a Jays fan. I don't need to be in a room full of Jays people. So I went home.
You don't like happiness. I know you're just one of these miserable people.
Yeah, I've got my team. I've got my team. I cheer for my team, and I don't want to see divisional rivals win World Series. That's the way I go about it. It's the same as
the house in blackjack. Do you used to go to the casino and sit there and cheer when the dealer, goes out and hits 21 and busts everybody's 20s?
You wouldn't be cheering. You weren't cheering for my team last year.
Your team is the house.
Nah, the Dodgers are now the house. The Dodgers have been the house for the last number of years. My team's not the way that is.
That was a really difficult one. That was a really difficult one to.
In the end, I don't need, because I also don't, the other part is I don't want to bring things down. I don't want to bring things down. Everyone there is cheer for the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't want to stick around with them and be happy if the Dodgers win. Because then I'm going to be the one that's going, yes, because the Dodgers scored. And that's the way it is. So let's just say, Eric's a big Liverpool fan. I hate Liverpool. And there was a Champions League final a number of years ago. And I remember somebody's like, are you going with him? I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to go hang out with Eric, because one thing is if they lose, he's going to be pissed that I'm there because I'm happy that Liverpool lost. And if Liverpool wins, I'm going to be pissed off that Liverpool won. It's a rivalry thing. I would not be happy when the Steelers win a Super Bowl, or the Bengals or the Browns if they ever come close. Yeah, I don't cheer for divisional rivals winning. It's that simple.
The chat's amazing. Awanak was ecstatic watching all the kids cry in the crowd on live TV. And Reg Dunlop, is Feinberg okay? Listen, I've got a wellness check-in. If anyone knows my pal Jeff Feinberg, he comes on WST quite often, does a lot of stuff with Pat Mayo. He turned into a meme on Saturday night. He was right behind the bench. There's one shot of him on TV just with his head in his hands on top of the dugout. Fox was taking pictures of him and then posting them. How are we doing, Jays fans? I think he's okay. He's got a beautiful family. He'll wake up today. He got a Chargers win yesterday, so I'm sure that made him feel a little better. But I'm interested. If anyone in chat was out at Boston Pizza or Houston's or Hudson's, I mean, any of the bars, I would love to know what the aftermath was like. Because it was, I mean, listen, it was just building for 2 days, building to a fever pitch, and it was right there. And then it wasn't. And there was no tomorrow. There was no next day. Listen, I can imagine, a lot of people in Edmonton, can sort of feel a little bit coming out of it was game 7 2 years ago, game 6 last year.
Game 7 2 years ago, came back down 3-0, forced game 7,
Like
lost last year, losing in 6.
What was the score in game 7? Like in that game 7, was that like I don't remember. Like,
was it 2-1? How did it? What was it? But it was like the final score wasn't one of those like, oh, look at this. You would have thought maybe closer, but the Oilers really didn't have a lot of chances in that one. 2004 Stanley Cup Final. It was 2-1 Florida that year, but it didn't feel as close as that score says. Like Florida did a very good job of containing the Oilers in that game 7.
Like this, to use a hockey analogy, would be like the Panthers tying the game up with an empty net with like 10 or 15 seconds left and then winning it in like double overtime. I mean, that's the, I mean, they were 2 outs away. And then you got to get in and do it again. And,
what do you make of the guy who threw the ball back but didn't throw the ball back?
Is that true? Did that happen?
He brought balls. Yeah, and him and his son apparently caught a couple of the balls, and they're selling them. They're trying to sell them. But he brought a different ball to switch them around and threw them onto the field to make it look like I'm throwing it onto the field.
Smart move, I guess. I'm sure they'll be like, trust me, if I'd paid $4,000 or whatever for a ticket and saw my team lose in game 7 and I'd caught a ball to maybe make back some of that scratch, no issue on that. And very ingenuitive. Yeah, as I did see that. He kind of puts the ball down and then he's like, oh, well. And then, by the way, that guy, you can tell that guy was picked last in gym class. One of the lamest throws I've ever seen in my life. Like, put it this way, say whatever you will about the ball being caught. He should have given it to someone else to throw it, because I mean, he's going to have to live with that one for a long time.
Dusty and Eric and the boys this morning were playing that a lot. And I didn't notice it before, but there's also like a female that's like right behind him, and she goes like something like, she mouths like, that was a home run or something. Like she's just so stunned, and she just outright like, that was a home run. It like just crushed. So I haven't seen all the books. I've seen the Jays anywhere from like 7th best odds to win the World Series next year and a little bit lower. Does that surprise you?
I mean, let's think of the powerhouses: Yankees, Red Sox,
Mariners,
in the
Astros,
NL. Yeah, Mariners,
who I see ahead in the American League.
Astros should always be there. Phillies. I mean, the Phillies have been, a top 5 team for the last little while.
Mets there. Dodgers obviously the favorite going into next year, as they will be for a couple of years, I would think.
Yankees, for whatever reason, are 7-1. The Phillies.
Well, they're going to get Garrett Cole back next year. That's one thing that they were missing. So that adds to the Jays, and they don't have a lot of. Cody Bellinger is a free agent, but it's not a lot that's on their list.
Yeah, I mean, I think between the Dodgers, the Phillies, I don't really include the Mets personally, but I guess they're in that mix. AL, you got the Astros, you've got the Mariners. I mean, the Jays, and I guess the Red Sox, if they can kind of, take that next step. The Braves and the Padres are both really good teams in the NL. If you told me that the Padres went on a run like the Jays went this year, I wouldn't have been surprised at all. In fact, I think they had shorter odds than the Jays when the playoffs started. But that to me really seems like the group of about 10. But again, Matt, here's the funny thing and the great thing about baseball. You know where the Jays were at this time last year on that list?
Very low.
Like bottom 5?
Yeah.
I mean, they were like 60-1 preseason to win the game, to win the series. Now, the one thing I guess with baseball is that you have all these teams that aren't trying. So, I mean, like right now, the White Sox, the Rockies, the Nationals, the Pirates, the Angels are all like 250, 500-1, something crazy like that. It's wild seeing the Cardinals so low for a team that always seems to contend. Miami Marlins athletics, they're done. The Twins traded everybody at the deadline. They're rebuilding. The D-backs and the Rays seemingly have no hope. The Reds, I guess the Reds did make the playoffs. But it is weird, and it's kind of a sad state of affairs in Major League Baseball when we could pretty much cross off half the teams right now before the offseason even starts, just because we know how the teams are operated.
It's why a salary floor is necessary. I don't care about a salary cap. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like, Jays are a top payroll team in baseball. Dodgers have a ridiculous payroll, but that's fine. Whatever. I don't care about that. The issue is there's too many teams that don't want to spend money. And it's about time they're forced to spend money. That's the big thing. If I'm the PA, you need a salary floor in there. And I think it just as baseball, it's better if there was a salary floor because some of those owners, they just own the team. I don't know why, actually. I don't know why they own those teams because it's like they hate baseball.
They make money.
Yeah, they make money, but they don't want to win. That's it, and that's ridiculous. So that forced them to start spending some money. And if they don't want to spend the money, sell your franchise for big bucks and bring someone in that wants to spend.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, it's easy for me and you to say, hey, you guys need to go and spend an extra $200 million. But I mean, when there's only a few markets that can actually afford what the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Jays are able to put out, it is broken. Like, you can say, yeah, you're forced to spend this much money. Well, great. That means I'm going to lose $60 million this year. Like, how do you force someone to do that?
Well, but a salary floor for one. Like, we have it in hockey, but two, there's a lot of teams that, like, what they take home versus their payroll is just ridiculously, it's just not right. And I'm not saying like you have to spend because the luxury tax is 200, I believe. You need to have teams spending 75 to 100 million, I would say, if not more. Probably 125, 150. Last year, 2024 revenue, Miami Marlins had 317 million. Their payroll with tax was 86 million. They were spending 20% of their payroll. They spent of their revenue. That's it. Like, you could bring that up. Like, no team should be under 40% of your payroll versus revenue.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, and I think there does need to be put in. It's just that if you establish a floor with no cap.
Well, you would have to get the only ways you're going to get both. You would have to get both. Like that would be. I don't care as much as a baseball fan about the cap, but if the owners are going to come and say, if you want a floor, then we're going to have to put a cap in, and that's going to be the negotiating there. But for me, from a competitive standpoint, what I care about seeing, like 04-05 was about a cap. We needed to see a cap to allow small market teams to get closer because they just couldn't afford what was going on. Now, to me, it's more these teams make money. Like back in the day, Edmonton Investors Group wasn't making much money. The Calgary Flames were making a lot of money. There was no Jets team because of that. We needed a salary cap to bring things down. To me, in baseball, the big thing is you need a floor to force some of these owners that are making money to spend a little bit more on their rosters and we don't have to look at the Pittsburgh Pirates and go, Paul Skeens is probably not going to be a Pirate for a number more years because they're not going to build a roster around him. As opposed to, no, they're going to now have to spend a roster and build around a great player in Paul Skeens, and the owner's just going to have to deal with that. But in turn, you're going to then have a cap at the top. It would just have to happen that way.
He should demand a trade right now. Paul Skeens, the Pirates.
I realized Mike Trout's like 34. I didn't realize he was that old. I know he's been around for a long time, but it just makes me just like, man, this guy, 3 playoff games, 2014, that's it. It's all his career we've seen him.
Mike Trout is going to end up being the most anonymous superstar of this generation. Now, listen, he's had a bunch of injuries as well. He must just love being somewhat anonymous out there in Anaheim. He had every chance to go wherever the hell he wanted. He stayed there, and I mean, listen, he's well compensated.
Yep.
He's living in a beautiful spot, but he's not sniffing a playoff game as long as he's with the Angels.
Nope.
And it is crazy how they had Ohtani and Trout for those years and never did a damn thing.
Didn't get to a single playoff game. Even with the expanded playoffs, couldn't get to one of those.
That's like having McDavid and Draisaitl and not making the playoffs for 5 years or 6 years.
We'll try to get hockey later. We'll get to the NFL momentarily here, but I do want to get the CFL. By the way, Adam Lowry make his season debut for the Jets against the LA Kings. CFL playoffs. I don't know how much you saw of the second game, but Bombers, Als, a great football game. Great comeback by the Bombers to start that second half. Looks like that championship window is now closed, and they're going to have to retool that team. A lot of free agents coming. But you're just thoughts of that game out in Montreal?
Well, I mean, it was kind of the worst of the Bombers to start off. I mean, the most disastrous start. You're down 17-0 before I think you have your second first down. And unfortunately, that was the story of the Bomber offense so many times this year. But credit where credit is due. Davis Alexander in Montreal came out and took it to the Bombers. I mean, we were kind of thinking that their hopes lied in how well their defense had played over the course of the last half of the season. And they were outmatched in that. But then, what was it? They screw up at the end going for it. It's 25-3 at the end of the first half. They screw up trying to go for it. They take a penalty. They have to take the field goal. So they're down by 19. And then, boom, touchdown, pick, touchdown, fumble, touchdown. And, dude, in like 5 minutes, they're all of a sudden winning the football game.
We have a ball game right here.
They're going like, wait a second. Could this be the ultimate Bomber run? Like, oh, just when you think that they're done, full Undertaker mode, come back. But Montreal was the better team. And they were able to get what they needed. The Bombers couldn't with the game on the line, and then they couldn't get a stop at the end. I mean, they could not get a stop. That Stevie Scott, number 8, who was like, third or fourth on the depth chart at the start of the year, looked like an absolute beast. And listen, they absolutely deserved it. I mean, I am thankful that the team just didn't get straight up humiliated for 60 minutes the way it looked like was going to happen, because that would have been a really ugly and unfortunate way for this amazing era to sort of end. But make no mistake about it. I mean, it felt like it was the end of an era for a Bomber team that, has done some really special things and had been to 5 straight Grey Cups. Today, they're clearing out their locker room, waiting for BC or Saskatchewan to take it over in a couple of weeks, which I think was sour. And, there's questions, obviously, a ton of questions on personnel.
Yeah, a lot of free agents.
The coach. Yeah, I mean, every team will have a million free agents, but who's coming back? I think there's a lot of guys that have come back a couple times thinking that might be the end. I mean, Stanley Bryant, obviously. Zach Caleros is coming back. He said as much yesterday. So, but I still think, I mean, the biggest question is, even if Zach's coming back for this last year, what the Bombers didn't have this year was any succession plan and a quarterback that could come in and consistently both run and throw the football. I mean, I know they had a couple wild wins that Strevler was starting, and the record actually looks pretty good, but we all remember how those games went down. And, it was Zach or bust in the final, and they weren't able to get it done. But, I mean, RIP the Bombers. We'll still have a good time during Grey Cup. It'll be a little weird with the team not in the big game. And now Mike O'Shea's future, which I think he'll be back. Kyle Walter's future.
Why would O'Shea's future be in question?
Oh, he might. I mean, he's been doing it for a pretty long time. There's always been some thoughts that he might want to go back to Ontario at some point.
Okay.
And I mean, he's just really quiet about it. Like, we just find out, oh, by the way, O'Shea signed an extension. I mean, there was, like, as I say, I think O'Shea will be back. And I think if he wants to be back, he'll be able to be back. I mean, it's not like he's going to get fired. But everything else, I think, is on the table. I mean, I'm not sure where Kyle Walters stands right now. Certainly Jason Hogan as the OC, I think, would be, I mean, I don't know if you've heard what Zach Caleros had to say yesterday, but in a roundabout way, very much questioning their leadership on offense and what they were practicing and what they were doing, even all the way back to training camp. So we'll see. I'll tell you what would really make people around here fired up is if Taylor Elgersma signed and you had a young Canadian quarterback that came in to kind of be under Zach or work with Zach for a year with the possibility that he'll move forward. But because if he doesn't, they got to get a couple guys in here because it ain't Terry Wilson. Chris Strevler is probably not coming back. And I think, as we knew, wasn't really the guy that was going to put you over the top. And you can't win without great quarterback play. And I think even Zach has kind of fallen back from his best level so far. So, yeah, interesting offseason in the CFL for the Bombers, but we do have 4 teams remaining. And as I say, I think Montreal's going to have a real good chance to beat Hamilton on the weekend. And holy smokes, Matt, you mentioned, I mean, I know it kind of overlapped the end of the football game with the start of the baseball game. But for people that stuck around and watched the end, just an absolutely incredible CFL game between 2 awesome teams. I mean, it just speaks to how good the West was, that the Bombers were 10-8, crossed over. And I mean, I could make an argument that any of the 3 teams in the West, Calgary, BC, or Saskatchewan, could have been a great representative of the West playing in Winnipeg in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that game, just the ending with VA hitting Clark Barnes, who gets absolutely rocked and holds on to that football so they can get a game-tying field goal, but left a little bit too much time. And then Nathan Rourke with a great throw right to McInnes, who has a great catch to put them in position to go win that football game. It was 2 amazing football games for the first weekend of the CFL playoffs. And I know there's a lot of people out there going to the, like, hey, look, why are we changing the rules? Like, these are exciting. These are amazing. And like that, the ending of BC Calgary will not be the same in 2027. Sean White's not kicking that field goal in 2027. No one's coming out kicking that field goal in 2027. The way these games ended, it's going to change mightily because you just have to get that much closer to the end zone. How far was it?
Yeah, it was the White winner.
Let me take a look. I also do have, because there's only 2 games next week, lines for the West and East finals.
Oh, that's nice.
We can guess.
I'll guess them. I haven't seen them yet.
So I need East. Why is this weird to me? Oh, East, so West semi. I'm using a CFL's website. Sometimes they could be weird. It was a 43-yarder. So you're talking about 57-yarder? 58-yarder. 58-yard field goal.
Yeah. And now keep in mind that there'll be 10 less yards in the field.
But the kickoff is going the 10 yards further. The kick's still the same. The length of a kicker is still going to go the same. So instead of it landing at 30, it's going to land at the 20.
Okay, I haven't really gotten into the
just like, okay, so right now when the kickoff happens, unless they change where the kickoff's going to happen, but if the kickoff happens and the ball goes to the 30 and a receiver catches it at the 30, now you got to take away 10 yards from the field because the ball's still going to go the exact same distance and it's going to go to the 20 now. The receiver's going to catch it at the 20 because we're losing 10 yards of the field.
Yeah, but I mean, right now they're already catching it back at like the 5 or the 10. They're going to start blasting it into the end zone.
Well, the ball's going to go, it depends where they position it, but the ball's going to still go the exact same distance. Yeah. The kick's not going to change. The kickers aren't going to take some off it. On that kickoff, the ball landed at the BC 26. So then it would have went to the BC 16.
Interesting.
So the math of the 10 yards, it balances out. It's the exact same. There's no advantage to that one.
Depending on where obviously they may change the...
unless they change where you're kicking off. Okay.
It's
Montreal.
hard to make the argument that the CFL needed much fixing this weekend. I will say that.
Montreal to Hamilton, 1 o'clock Edmonton, 2 o'clock Winnipeg time this Saturday. What's the spread?
I'm going to go Montreal -2.
Ooh. Montreal -2.5.
Okay.
Right on there. And BC, Saskatchewan, 4:30, Edmonton, 5:30, Winnipeg time in the West final.
Oh. Sask at home. I'm just gonna say Sask -3.
Dead on. Sask -3. You're off by 0.5 for the 2 games.
Pick him and give him the 2 point. Pick him and give him the 3 points for home field. Yeah, that's next Saturday is going to be great. Next Saturday is going to be great. I mean, both of these games are going to be phenomenal. Is Dusty back out east for this one?
Yeah, he'll be back out east. So you'll have me on the Lock Shop Thursday, Friday.
Excellent.
And I think I'm on Wednesday. I'm on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So he's on Lock Shop tomorrow, but then he's gone the rest of this week.
How is he with the Jays?
He had a lot to say today on the show in terms of talking about, a lot of numbers, still hurting. going through the fact that, like it was so close. And there's just so many different moments that the Toronto Blue Jays could have been World Series champs, and it didn't happen.
Was he flying on Saturday night? Like, I was thinking about where the heck he was going to be watching the game.
So he was on the flight. He flew, because I remember he sent out a tweet, and it was before the game. So he was in the air when the game was happening. He was watching it. I think he was Air Canada on his Air Canada flight. Oh, nice. He did say today he got home in time for the 11th to watch with his wife and his kid. So just in time to watch them lose the World Series.
Poor Marsh, just finding out the, Marshall, who loves the Oilers, the Bombers, and the Blue Jays. I mean, these
rough start to sports fandom to a degree.
Tough life lessons earlier. I did see him and Marsh cracking some packs last night, so that was nice that they had that. But yeah, I know, back to CFL. This next weekend is going to be two awesome matchups. I think we've got 4 of the best 5 teams. I would put Calgary as that other team. They didn't make it through, so may the best teams make it to the peg. When are you coming here?
I land Thursday night. So I'm there all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because the flights back home on Monday were ridiculously expensive. So I have a day in Winnipeg to enjoy on the Monday, and then Tuesday I fly back. But yeah, I'm in Thursday night. I land. So we'll go drop my stuff off at the hotel quickly, and then she'll be able to get to most likely Spirit of Edmonton by midnight.
Are you staying at the Media Hotel?
No.
Downtown?
I don't know where it is. Girlfriend booked the spot, so I got to figure out where it is.
Your girlfriend booked the spot. Hey, I just hope it was I just hope it's in a nice area, Matt.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Right?
Oh, she's going. She'll be in the Winnipeg the day before me, so she's there to go party too and stuff. So we're gonna have.
Nice. She's coming.
She's a big CFL fan. She's a big Elks fan. She's a big Grey Cup fan. So no, it's there's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And no matter what the matchups are going to be, it's going to be a good Grey Cup, I would say. Either it's Bo Levi and Trevor Harris, 2 old guards will make it. One of them, or some of the new young guards. When Nathan Rourke or Davis Alexander get in the Grey Cup, we'll see what that combination is. Do need to get to Monday Night Football, but before we do that, Chiefs lose. Lions lose to the Vikings. The Packers fall at home to the Panthers. What stood out to you most in the National Football League yesterday?
Well, obviously the Chiefs losing was a big, just further misery of the weekend. Compounded by the fact that after going 5-0, 4-1, 3-2, I managed to erase it all and go 0-5. It was just the worst weekend of all time. The Packers probably killed a lot of people's survivor pools, though, which did make me happy because I had the Rams and I'm still alive on that. By the way, let me ask you this. If you asked average fans without looking, what do you think the Carolina Panthers record is?
I feel like they have 3 wins.
They're 5-4.
They have 5 wins?
The Panthers have the same record as the Chiefs right now. And it is true. If you ask, I think most people would think maybe they have 2. Oh, they just beat the Packers, so they have 3. They're 2 games up on Atlanta.
Yeah, you're right. You look at who they beat is one thing, but they winning the games.
They went into Lambeau and beat the Packers.
Yeah, the ones I'm thinking about the ones before.
Yeah. I mean, they went into Atlanta and smashed them too.
Shut them out.
It's hilarious. So that's the win of the week. I mean, absolutely the win of the week. I thought Buffalo was great. I thought they just dominated the line for the Chiefs. I thought Mahomes had a very, very subpar game for his standards. There's a couple of things that happened in the game that you kind of wish would have maybe gone the other way. Certainly that missed deflected pass was pretty crucial. Would have loved to have heard how people would have reacted if that went the other way. But listen, the Broncos with a gutsy win, which really pissed me off. I mean, Houston had that one. They should have won that game. They weren't able to. Oh, and the craziest thing, lost in all of this was the end to the Cincinnati-Chicago game. Were you following that at all?
I followed a little bit. My dad. I went to go for dinner with my folks, and I come into their house, and my dad's like, "Did you see the end of this game?" And he was explaining it to me with how wild that game finished up.
So at the 2-minute warning, the Bears were up 41-27. They ended up winning 47-42. There were 3 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. The Bengals get a touchdown. They go for 2. So they're down by 6. They get the ball back, go down, get another touchdown with like 50 seconds left, kick the single point, and now they're up by 1. So the Bears, and keep in mind of this in the context of having Cincinnati plus 2.5, which I did. This is a perfect synopsis of the entire weekend. So essentially the Bears have 1 timeout and about 35 seconds or so. They pass across, like getting closer to midfield, and they have to take their timeout. So there's 23 seconds left. So essentially Caleb Williams, they need to get probably about 15 yards and get down and spike the ball. Or if it's running and you don't have enough time to do that, like a jailbreak 60-yarder. He hits Colston Loveland over the middle. 2 Bengals are right there. All they have to do is make a freaking tackle. But because the Bengals are the dumbest team in the NFL and a defense that is in the conversation for the worst of all time, they decide, no, let's go for a big hit on this first-round behemoth tight end. The guy just bounces off of him, and then he realizes, what the heck? He's gone. So they get a touchdown on that play. Anybody with Bengals plus 2.5 loses. They don't even need to try a field goal, and Chicago gets the win. That the look, Jamar Chase, the coach Zach Taylor, like it was art. Just the pictures on the faces of these guys after they'd gotten 2 touchdowns in a minute to potentially win the game, to lose it that way. I mean, I don't know how that's going to implode the entire team. I mean, the offense puts up 42 and loses.
Well, that ESPN win probability thing, with a minute 43 to go, Chicago had a 98.3% chance to win the game. With 47 seconds to go, Cincinnati had an 85.9%. So we immediately had a complete flip in a minute of the football game. With 25 seconds left, Cincinnati still had a 74.5% chance of winning that football game. And in the end, the Chicago Bears walk away with a 47-42 win, and it flips back the other way. It's wild just looking at this chart because it's just top for the Bears, plummets to the Bengals, shoots right back up to the Bears in such a small spot. So, hey, great for my Baltimore Ravens. Not so great for Cincinnati Bengals fans that are out there. Monday Night Football tonight, Cowboys, Cards, Cowboys minus 196 straight up on the money line. They're also minus 3.5 point favorites in this one. Do the Cards without Kyler Murray have a shot against this Dallas Cowboys team?
Well, Dallas is the only defense that you can even say it might be in the same category as the Bengals. So I guess anybody has a shot. I do like Dallas in this game, though. I mean, thinking about, their offense has been so good. Dak in prime time with most of his weapons back. I mean, I think they'll get theirs. But to be honest, I didn't think there was a big drop-off when they went from Murray to Brissett in the first place. So the guy that I'm looking for tonight, what's the rushing prop on Bam Morris? Or Bam Knight, Zonovan Knight, as he may be.
51.5.
I think I'm gonna look at Zonovan Knight maybe for to go the over and see what's his touchdown number for tonight.
Touchdown for him tonight.
On 140, 150 probably.
Why can't I see it right now? There it is. Minus 101. Touchdown tonight's minus 101.
Anytime touchdown?
Yep.
Okay. Well, him, and then on the Dallas side, I mean, listen, I think it's a primetime game. CD and George Pickens are both going to eat. What do we have for receiving props on those guys? I'm sure.
So CeeDee Lamb's receptions is at 6.5. Pickens is at 4.5 over under. And in terms of receiving yards, Pickens is at 63.5. CeeDee Lamb is at 84.5 for the over under for receiving yards in this one.
I don't see how both of those guys, frankly, don't go on over on these ones. I know Jake Ferguson gets a lot of targets, but I mean, 5 catches for Pickens seems like a no-brainer. 7 for CD. I mean, the Pickens number, you could argue that Pickens has been as good as Lamb this year, to be perfectly honest with you. I think there might be more valuable if you're picking between one of the two. Maybe we go to Pickens just because it's a little less, but I don't see how this Dallas team, what's the team total for Dallas? Hold on, 54.5 is the team total. Yeah, I mean, Dallas, the total for Dallas is like 29.5. Funny, the Cardinals is like 25, though. I mean, that says that there's going to be some points. They're certainly expecting on both sides of it. Yeah, to me, Knight on the Cardinals, and then the 2 receivers. And I mean, listen, the Dak overall. What are we looking at for Dak? I mean, 272 for a total. Percent. Maybe we're sleeping on these. So who's, I guess, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. Although I'm probably less high on the McBride right now with Brissett in. It seems like Murray always goes to him.
Yeah.
I don't know where you come out on that, but I'm a little more dubious about these receiving totals for the Cardinal guys. But I think the George Pickens over 63.5 from receiving is my favorite, and the Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight, touchdown and or over rushing, my favorites for the game.
Well, yeah, I just built a quick parlay here. Just a small one, nothing too crazy, but it's a nice number. I have Knight over 50 rushing yards. I have Pickens over 4.5 receptions, and I got the Cowboys to cover 3.5, and that's plus 677. Get a little boost on that. That's a nice number.
And that's Cowboys at 3.5?
Yeah.
All right.
So I could bring that down to 2.5 because we've got, like, that's a nice, like, if I brought that down, do I have the I don't see it right now, the alternate spread there yet. But I could even bring that down to 2.5, save that field goal there.
Yeah, that probably would take it from like 675 to like 5-1, but
with a little boost, that comes back up nicely. It's a nice little spot.
This game could end up looking a little more like last night. By the way, Jaden Daniels.
It's rough.
Like, there's a few people that were in my timeline yesterday when I said, oh my God, the Bombers are out, the Jays lost, the Chiefs lose. And then a guy goes, hey, I'm a Commanders fan. And I'm like, oh God. I mean, I just thank you for Patrick Mahomes' health today, because considering everything else that happened, that would have been the only way it could have been a more painful weekend.
I just knocked on wood for you there, Huss.
Thank you.
Okay, WST coming up. We couldn't even get to the hockey today. Obviously, some Jets talk, but mostly Blue Jays, Bombers recap, I'm assuming.
I'm going to talk about the Jets for 2 hours. Thank you, Jets. They're 9-3. They won on the weekend. The lone bit of light in the darkness right now. But yeah, we will talk about that. They're hitting the road. Adam Lowry's going to be back tomorrow, which is awesome. So Mike McIntyre will come on. We will break down the end of Bomber season with Taylor Allen. And then, Josh Goldberg from Blue Jays Nation's been on with us throughout the playoffs. We have to do a bit of a eulogy, if you will, for the 2025 Toronto Blue Jays. So we will get to all of that coming up on the show in about 5 minutes.
Huss, enjoy WST. I will talk with you Wednesday. Huss, Dusty will be on tomorrow.
Take it easy, Matty.
There's Hustler, Remus coming up. Winnipeg Sports Talk. Go check them out on YouTube. I will throw up that Monday Night Football parlay there that we had. Knight over 50 rushing yards. Pickens, 5 or more receptions. Then we'll go Cowboys minus 2.5. We'll get that boosted. And I'm also I think we both. This is going to be my play, I guess, in the will. I'm going to go Als. I'm going to go Riders. Just an early, quick CFL parlay, just to start off the week. Als and Riders to cover their spread going into the finals of the East and the West, with the winners going to the Grey Cup. We got a Oil Stream coming up next. We got EST Afternoons. We got the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. And then we also got GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows tonight for you as the Oilers will battle the St. Louis Blues. On behalf of us, I'm Awanik. Thanks for tuning in to the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta. Oil Stream in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.